Namaskar. Uh, Welcome in this lecture series on software engineering fundamentals. I am Dr. Bright Keswani, a professor in Suresh Gyan, Vihar University. Let us discuss about software configuration management. The learning objectives and learning outcomes of this lecture are that through this lecture you will learn the art of identifying, organizing, and controlling modifications to the software being built by a programming team. As far as learning outcomes are concerned, after the completion of this lecture, you will be able to understand the importance of software configuration management and how to maximize productivity by minimizing mistakes. These are some points which will be discussed in this lecture. First of all, an overview on software configuration management to be given. Secondly, importance, goals, and objectives of SCM to be described. And then, software configuration management plan will be elaborated. Then, we will discuss about SCM process and activities. We will discuss about software change management. And lastly, we will discuss about SCM tools, means software configuration management tools, and various standards. Software configuration management. It is one of the foundation of software engineering, and it is used to track and manage the emerging product and its versions. This is to assure quality of the project and quality of the product during development and operational maintenance of the product. When we develop software, the product means software undergoes many changes in their maintenance phase, and we need to handle these changes effectively. Several individual programs works together to achieve these common goals, and this individual produces several work products. Uh, we can say it as a software configuration items. For example, uh, in intermediate versions of modules or test data used during debugging parts of the final product, and the elements that comprises all information produced as a part of the software process are collectively called as a software configuration. SCM ensures that all people involved in the software process know what is being designed, what is being developed, built, tested, and delivered. Through SCM, the design requirements can be traced to the final software product. SCM prevents the software process from becoming unmanageable by controlling change and maintaining system integrity also. It identifies and controls the configuration of software, hardware, and the tools that are used throughout the development cycle. So, as software development progresses, the number of software configuration elements, that is SCIs, grow rapidly, and these are handled and controlled by SCM. And this is where we require SCM, software configuration management. A configuration of the product refers not only to the product's constituent but also to a particular version of the component. As far as The definition is concern. When we talk about a particular definition, different people perceive configuration management differently. There are few perceptions of several people about SCM in the form of definitions. Some people said that software configuration management is the art of identifying, organizing, and controlling modifications to the software being built by a programming team, and the goal of is to maximize productivity by minimizing mistakes. On the other hand, some thought that software configuration management is the process of defining and implementing a standard configuration that results into the primary benefits such as easier setup and maintenance, less downtime, better integration with enterprise management, and more efficient and reliable backups. In other definition, software configuration management is the process concerned with the development of procedures and standards for managing and evaluating evolving software system product. And we can say that software configuration management is the ability to control and manage changes in software projects. Okay, so as per the latest new definition, software configuration management is a set of procedures meant to identify, control, provide, and log the various work products of a software project. So, in the simplest sense, we can say that software configuration management, that is SCM, is the process of controlling baseline software documents and codes. Okay, so uh, this is the overview about software configuration management. I hope you all understand about the clear cut definition of software configuration management. Let us discuss about the importance of SCM, goals and objectives of SCM. The second law of software evolution states that unless steps are taken to maintain control on the software system, the entropy of the system will continually increase. When a system's entropy is increasing, the system becomes more chaotic. It becomes more and more difficult to correct errors and make enhancements. So, all organizations exercise some form of SCM, through many would not recognize it as such. It can be as simple as the single programmers program that keep track of the program's progress, errors, and requirements in his head, to the large software company that uses strict SCM practices during development. SCM is the discipline which identifies changes, which monitors and controls changes, which ensures the proper implementation of change made to the item, and auditing and reporting on the change made. So, configuration management (CM) is a technique of identifying, organizing, and controlling modification to software being built by a programming team. So, the objective is to maximize productivity by minimizing mistakes or errors. So, the uh, goal, the definition, the importance, the objective are very much clear about the software configuration management. As far as goals are concerned, there are several goals of SCM, but some major goals we will discuss. The first goal is software configuration management activities are planned. The second is selected software work product are identified, controlled, and available. Changes to identify software work products are controlled, and affected groups and individuals are informed of the status and content of software baseline. So, what is needed? Software configuration management activities are planned, they are identified the product, control over the management, control over the development, and availability. They provide the work product availability. Then changes to identify software work product are controlled, and then affected group and individuals are informed about the status and content of the software baseline. There are several objectives of software configuration standard, and some major objectives of software configuration standard are like remote system administration, reduce user downtime, reliable data backups, and easy workstation setups, multi-user support, remote software installation, and these are the main objectives of SCM, you can say. First of all, we will discuss about the remote system administration. Remote, the configuration standard should include necessary software and privileges for remote system administration tool. A remote administration client currently that is correctly installed and configured on the client side is the uh, cornerstone of the remotely administrated network. And these remote tools can be used to check the version of virus protection, check machine configuration, or offer remote help desk functionality. So, remote system administration is the one objective of SCM. The second objective of SCM is reduce user downtime. A great advantage of using a standard configuration is that systems become completely interchangeable, resulting in reduced user downtime. And if a given system experienced on an uncovered error, an identical new system can be dropped into place. User data can be transferred if the non-functional machine is still accessible, or the most recent copy can be pulled off of the backup tape, with the ultimate goal being that the user experiences little change in the system interface. That is, it reduce the user downtime. Then the next objective is the reliable data backups. Using a standard directory for user data allows backup system to separately backup a small portion of a machine, and greatly reducing the network traffic the tape uses for backup systems. And it should also uh, uh, provide the data directory and data restoration on a new machine with little time and efforts. So uh, it is very beneficial. SCM is very beneficial in reliable data backups. It provides easy the objective one of the objective of SCM is to provide easy workstation setup. Any sort of standardized configuration streamline the process of setting up the system and ensures that vital components are available. So if multiple machines are being set up according to the standard setup, most of the setups and configurations can be automated. And lastly, multi-user support. And you can say that uh, um, Through the SCM, you can achieve the multi-user support. The directory structure implemented does not improve the limits on the number of independent users a system can have. Some software packages do not support completely independent settings for all users. However, users can have independent data areas. So, uh, there are a lot of objectives of SCM. It helps in remote software installation also. So these are some main objectives, major objectives you can say of SCM. Let us discuss about why do we need configuration management. So multiple people are working on software which is consistently updating. It may be a method where multiple versions or branches authors are involved in a software project, and the team is geographically distributed and work concurrently. It changes user requirements and policy, budget, schedules need to be accommodated. So a configuration management is needed. Let us discuss about the importance of SCM. It is practical in controlling and managing the access to various SCIs. Secondly, it provides the tool to ensure that changes are being properly implemented. Thirdly, it has the capability of describing and storing the various of constituents of software, which is a very important uh, point. Then, lastly, SCM is used to keeping system in a consistent state by automatically producing derived version upon modification of the same component. So these are some points which are very important when we are talking about the importance of SCM. Let us discuss about the software configuration management plan. The procedures for software configuration management are laid down in the form of a SCM plan document, and uh, IEEE standard for software configuration management suggests a plan which is depicted in the given figure. Uh, the first thing is introduction, which should have purpose, scope, definition, and references. Okay. The second section of this plan contains the management, heading the management and related organization related contains it possess configuration management responsibilities, interface control, implementation of software configuration management plan, and applicable policies, directives, and procedures should be mentioned in this segment. This segment, management segment. Okay. Thirdly, configuration management activities are configuration management activities are to be described in the configuration software configuration management plan as a third section, which is related to the configuration identification, configuration control, configuration status accounting, and audits and reviews. Then there are several tools, techniques, and methodologies which should be mentioned in the uh, software configuration management plan also. Then supplier control and records collection and retention should be mentioned in the software configuration management plan. The change control board, the role of change control board is very much important when we are talking about SCM. Change Control Board is established to manage the change control process in a uh, fair and stable manner. Change Control Board serves as a focal point for change management and retains the authority for deciding which proposed changes actually get incorporated into a work product. For any particular project, the change control board includes some individuals, like it includes the executive sponsor, customer or end user representative, it includes the marketing representatives, it includes the program manager, project manager, uh, who also serve as a change board coordinator also. Then quality assurance manager should be in the team, engineering lead should be in the team, and quality assurance lead and documentation lead should be also there. It is expected that the board will meet either on a periodical basis or whenever a key change or group of changes require consideration. The project manager will act as its facilitator and will serve as the focal point for collecting change requests, and coordinating change board meeting, and and he is doing the similar other activities also. CCB will be considered to have a quantum, uh, have a forum of the project manager, project uh, program manager, engineering lead, and quality assurance lead. Okay, and they conduct regular meetings. These meetings may take place in person or over the telephone, and other individuals may participate in change management board actions at the uh, recommendations of the board. Let us discuss about the SC process and activities. So it uses the tools which keep that the necessary changes has been implemented properly to the appropriate component, and the SCM process defines a number of tasks like identification of objectives in the software configuration, then version control, change control, configuration audit, and status reporting. So these are some activities, you can say these are some SCM activities. So configuration identification identifies the and records the software configuration items, that is SCIs, in the software process, and change control manager manages the changes that occurs in the SCI. Status accounting gives us an instance of the status of all the SCIs in the system. Auditing and reviewing verify that any changes to the SCI in the system have been done correctly, and allow for the creation of the next baseline when all SCIs have passed verification and validation. So there are mainly uh, five major activities, and configuration uh, identification is uh, when configuration item identification is concerned, the SCM process manages all the software and entities and their relative representations in documentation. uh, SCM process manage it all, and basically SCM should manages all software related components that are used during development, during testing and production. The identification and structuring of the software configuration management plan is done when the software process is being defined. SCI, as I earlier said, that software configuration items added to the SCM are things such as tools, designs, documents, requirement documents, etc. And the SCI that are identified determine the baselines that is associated with the project. The number and types of baselines will depend upon the form, and only authorized changes can be made to the baseline, and all changes are recorded as um, in details until such time as a new baseline is generated. So, software configuration, when we talk about SCI, there are some examples of SCI like uh, management plans, test plans, requirements, design, test cases, okay, implementation manuals, user manuals, operation manuals, and online help files. Then source code also like PLSQL, Fortran, COBOL, Pascal, DBase, Visual C, Java. Okay. Then executable codes like machine readable object code or EXEs files. Then the libraries are also contain SCI like routine libraries, procedures, or APIs, DLL files. Okay. Then some databases are also contain SCI like data being processed, data a program requires test data, regression test data, etc. So, and lastly, production related documents also contain SCI, software configuration items. Okay. So, let us discuss about baseline. What is baseline? As per the IEEE, a specification or product that has been formally reviewed and agreed upon that thereafter serves as the basis for further development, and that can be changed only through formal change control procedure is called baseline. Okay. So it is suggested that SCIs are uh, at par from the baseline. Okay. So next is change control. The change control involves procedures and tools to bring uh, order to the change process. Larger projects have a formal change control board. As I earlier said, CCB is there, whose responsibility is to review and approve or disapprove changes. It is the CCB responsibility to provide the mechanism to maintain orderly change processes. So CCB is play a very significant role in change control. There are some goals of change control procedure. An effective change control procedure should provide a mechanism for accepting changes that improve the product overall while rejecting those that degrade it. It should facilitate changes to work products during their initial formative development while avoiding unnecessary overheads or formalities. It allowed changes to accept work products to be proposed and evaluate, schedule and quality impact assessed, and approve or reject the rejected into work products in a controlled manner. So, what is important? Control over change is important. So, change control is an important process of SCM. We can say it is these are the important activities of SCM. Identification of objects in the software configuration is the first task. Version control and change control is the second and third task. Fourth task configuration audit, and last is status reporting. Change control process or procedure ensures that changes to the system are controlled and that their effect on the system can be predicted. To make a change control form, generally called as CCF or a software problem report, that is SPR, is filled out. The form contains such forms contains data on estimation cost and data and date when the changes was requested, approved, implemented, and validated. The information on the form is defined in the SCM plan, and it makes up much of the information in the SCM database. So, uh, there is a uh, change process which is very much important when we are talking about SCM. Then this form is submitted to the change control board. Then it is examined by the change control board for its validity, the impact on the changes, and on the cost. The change is then approved or disapproved by the change control board. If it is approved, it is applied to the software and regression testing is done to be sure that the change has not artifacted has not affected other parts of the system, and records are kept of the all changes approved and disapproved. This allows for history reports to be generated required whenever required. So change control board plays a significant role in the SCM process. When we talk about status accounting, reporting and auditing, accounting, auditing, and status reporting, we can say that software configuration status reporting is the record keeping activity of software configuration management from the time the first SCI were identified, all changes and the current status of change and documents are recorded in a status accounting database. And the records in the database provides management with reports as to the current state of the project and anything a snapshot can be seen on the system's progress. So, when we are talking about auditing and reviewing and creating the status report, it is very much significant. We should have the status auditing and review have some characteristics like have the formal review have been done, have all software engineering standards being followed, have the changes being noted, dated, and author specified. So these are some questions which are very much related to the software accounting, auditing, and review, reporting and review. Okay, so these are very much important activities which comprises the SCM process. So we have discussed these things in detail. Let us discuss about the software change management. Software change management is an integral part of project management. The only way for developers to accomplish their project goals is to change their software, and change management directs and coordinates these changes. Software change management is the process of selecting which changes to encourage, which to allow, and which to prevent according to project criteria such as schedule and cost. So on the basis of schedule and cost, the software change management selecting the change to encourage and allow and prevent and restore the SCI. The process identifies the begins origin of changes, defines critical project decision points, and establish project roles and responsibilities. Okay, so change management is an important part of the software change management. Software when we discuss about the software configuration management. Let us discuss the SCM2 about the SCM tools and standards. There are some SCM tools. Before any SCM tool is decided upon for the project, all local configuration management requirements should be determined first, and the complexity of the requirements will help to determine the type of tool or tools that the project will require. There are a lot of capabilities. A good SCM tool should have some capabilities like manage versions throughout the development lifecycle. It should provide the guaranteed integration of items or support and manage concurrent development. It should allow the identification of all components that comprises a particular change or version release. Then it provides automated versions building capabilities. It provides audit facilities and reporting tools. So these all are uh, uh, capabilities of a good SCM tool. So it is not necessary and that you have several tools, but it is important to have an effective tool. Okay, so there are dozens of tool vendors to choose from, and the choice of tool will depend entirely upon the project needs. If SCM tools have been developed to support the entire project lifecycle as well as specific parts of the development process. So there are a lot of advantages of important okay, important, let us discuss about the important SCM tools. So these all enlisted tools are some important SCM tools. Like first tool is database management, DBMS with a data dictionary. It is an important tool for software configuration management. Is a database management system with a data dictionary, and such a system can be used throughout the project lifecycle and helps maintain the consistency and integrity between the configuration items in the project. The second tool is OMS, Object Management System. Tools such as Ellipse or Object Management System maintains object hierarchies and record changes and transformation to the objects in the system. And OMS provides traceability of SCIs throughout their life cycles. And tools such as OMS means Object Management Systems are used for the entire life cycle. The next tool we will discuss about version trackers. So, version trackers are used to maintain records of revisions that are made to source code modules. When new releases or versions are generated, the new version can be tested and compared against past versions and reconstituted whenever necessary. And this gives the project a history of its source code. There are several versions trackers such as CVS or SCCS, etc. Uh, the version tracker like CVS only save the differences between the code and not the entire code for such version to save storage space. Another importance of version tracker tool is SCCS, Source Code Control System, which is developed by IBM for 370 hardwares, and it is distributed with Unix. And the aim of such version tracker is to allow different versions of the system to be maintained without unnecessary code duplication. So it is again a very important tool. Version tracker is an important tool. The next important tool is consistency controllers. Consistency controllers are used to ensure that the object code corresponds to the source code, and the dependencies among files are recorded so that when the source code is changed, the corresponding object code is recreated. Okay, so there are some consistency controllers and some system built tools are also there. uh, and we are considering it as a SCM tool. System built tools are used to set the dependencies between components, and they dictate how the project is built from the component, and they are form makefile build tool help to maintain consistency when components are being linked together. Okay, so you can say the system build tools are also a part of SCM tool and standards. So it is a very important thing. So this is all from my side. Let us discuss about some assessment process, as question and answer uh, process. First is which of the and remember these questions are based on this lecture only, which is related to the SCM. So all questions are related to the SCM. Let us discuss all questions. First is which of the following categories is part of the output of software process? There are four options. Option A is computer programs. Option B is documents that describe the computer programs. Option C is data. And option D is all of the mentioned. So the answer is D. The second question, which is our software configuration management concepts that help us to control change without seriously impending justifiable change. The, uh, uh, the options are baseline, source code, data model, and none of above. The right answer is baseline. Third question, software configuration management can be administered in several ways. These includes the four options are a single software configuration management team for the whole organization. B is a separate configuration management team for each project. C option is software configuration management distributed among the project members. And last one is all of the mentioned. The right answer is a single software configuration management team for the whole organization. Let us discuss the next question. What combines procedures and tools to manage different versions of configuration objects that are created during the software process? The four options given options are change control, vision control, SCI, and none of the mentioned. The right answer is B, vision control. Next one is what complaint the formal technical review by assessing a configuration object for characterized that are generally not considered during review. The options are software configuration audit, software configuration management, baseline, or none of the above. The right answer is software configuration audit. In the sixth question, which of the following is the process of assembling computer program components, data, and libraries, and then compiling and linking these to create an executable system? So the questions are system building, resale management, version management, and change management. The right answer is A, system building. Let us discuss the remaining questions. The seventh question, which of the uh, following option is not tracked by configuration management tool? There are four options again. The first option is tracking of change proposals. Second is storing versions of system components. Third is tracking the releases of system versions to customers. And last one is none of the mention. So the right answer is none of the mention. In the eighth question, which of the following is not a software configuration management activity? Configuration item, identification, risk management, release management, or branch management? Right answer is B, risk management. In the ninth question, the identification and use of configuration management standards is essential for quality certification in A. ISO 9000, B. CMM, C. CMMI, and last is all of the mentioned. So the कौन सा ninth question? Yes, the ninth. The answer of ninth question is D. All of the mentioned. The in the 10th question, what involves preparing software for external release and keeping track of the system versions that have been released for customer use? The four options are system building, release management, change management, and version management. The right answer is release management. Okay, so that's all for today's lecture. If you have any query, then you can consult with these books. Thank you. Thank you very much.